You're as cuddly as a cactus. You're as charming as an eel, Mr. Grinch.
Welcome back to Where You Live with Gene and Tony. And we're so glad to have you with us this Sunday morning. We are broadcasting from the Concierge Landscape Studios. We're brought to you this hour by Extreme Exteriors. And our producer, Mr. Eric, you are picking perfect songs here.
We're taking a little turn to the dark side of the holidays. Is that what's happening?
Yes.
Mr. Grinch?
Yes.
We want our listeners to call us if they have any questions or comments or any ideas for topics they'd like to hear us address on the show. 952-224-2668. 952-224-2668 is our hotline. Leave us a message.
And that number now doesn't connect to us because we record during the week. And, of course, our show broadcasts on Sunday.
Yep.
But if you leave a number on our hotline, we'll be able to address any issue, concerns that you have. Mm-hmm. Another would be the email address. We haven't done that in a long while.
That's right.
As well. And that's Gene, Gene, at ncmgi.com. We'll get your email, and we're happy to address any question or give any comments next week on the show. Mm-hmm. Well, we are talking about a gentleman who has, I don't think he's really picked up the Christmas spirit. It's maybe not as bad as I'm making it out to be, but there's an attorney down in Florida and in the Orlando Sentinel wrote a piece. This is an editorial
piece, yeah.
And it says, a typical Christmas, Hanukkah, and New Year in a Florida community association. Just that statement right there kind of says it all right there. Mm-hmm. And it begins with, the holidays are finally here. Time to wind down and spend some quality time with your family and friends in your home. Time to put up those decorations that will make you the envy of your neighbors. Have a holiday gathering or two and party nonstop until the first week of 2012. But before you start that celebration, please read the fine point of your community's documents and all the rules that govern your association. Don't even think of putting up decorations if you live in an HOA unless you get permission from the architectural committee. By the way, they require the plans 30 days in advance. Already, I'm turning things have kind of sensed a turnaround here with his attitude. He says, if your plans haven't been submitted yet, forget Christmas, but maybe you'll be able to put up lights by President's Day.
Bah!
Remember, if you live in a condo, you're only allowed to put a small religious symbol on the frame or mantle of your doorway in Florida. Pictures of Santa placed on your actual doorway are strictly prohibited and are subject to removal by force if necessary. If you live in an HOA, the statute doesn't give you any right whatsoever to display any religious symbols. So if you're religious, you may want to spend the holidays in a condo because the Florida legislature apparently believes those owners are entitled to more religious expression than you.
I want to point out that last paragraph that in Florida, the legislation differs between HOAs and condo associations, doesn't it? So he's complaining and saying that you cannot celebrate Christmas at all, pretty much.
The part that I don't think is accurate, and that is, by and large, I think most homeowner associations are accommodating to folks when it comes to the holiday season.
Well,
and allowing for some expression. That
they
doesn't
certainly
mean,
can be because they're self-governed.
Yeah.
So for him to make these blanket statements about living in a homeowners association is really untrue and mean-spirited.
Or to say that it necessarily requires a 30-day advance notice in
That's
writing.
a rule decided upon by the association. This is just
Exactly.
another great argument for self-governance in these homeowners associations.
Now, the one thing that I found interesting is that what you have here in this editorial comment, and his name is attorney Eric Glazer, okay, who wrote this piece in the Orlando Sentinel on December 12th. What he what he's pointing out to is indicative of a lot of state legislatures, and that is they will have someone who will come to them about some inequity. Mm-hmm. And the legislator, more often than not, is ready to put something in action. They want to show to their constituents that they're on the ball, they're moving ahead, but they don't think a lot of times of the unintended consequences. And so here is a case of someone writing something so specific where they have an inequity. And in this case, it is between living in a townhome and living in a condominium.
Right.
And the state legislature says that, and it's kind of odd, and I would say I would agree with that. The idea that the state statute says if you live in a condo, even if your governing documents
prohibit it,
that it's prohibited to have anything at all, you are allowed to have a religious symbol on your door mantle or
door frame.
If you live in a townhome, you can't have anything whatsoever, and it makes you wonder why. What's the difference here? And the difference really is someone who wasn't really thinking through. They were just getting something passed quickly.
They were just getting something done so they could tell that constituent, hey, look, I took this action for you. Vote for me and tell all your friends to vote for me. We know that in homeowners associations, lots of the regulations are not dictated by the association, but are dictated by things like building code, fire code, city ordinance. So often things hanging on your door, especially in an enclosed condo situation, may be prohibited by your fire code.
And that's an excellent point. Some people automatically go to the place where they say it is a unreasonable board. They're just the people that don't know how to have fun. They're dysfunctional. All they want to do is just make sure that living here is unbearable. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the idea, and they don't realize that they are constrained by many of the same ordinances that you are too. And you bring up a great point when it comes to fire safety codes. There's a lot of reasons why you can't have a number of things hanging from your door.
Right, or things sitting outside your door like a Christmas welcome mat, or leave your boots by the door. That's against Minnesota fire code.
And that's so, I mean, in Minnesota, I suppose most places, people think of taking off their shoes when they go into a home because they don't want to track.
Right.
And you understand that, but in a condo you can't do that because the first time the lights go out, there is a fire, someone trips and falls, and they weren't able to get out of the building quick enough.
That's right.
There's going to be a lawsuit.
They're injured. That's right. So, welcome to hell. Here's your governing documents. Yeah. Is that what we're talking about? It's just the whole tone of this. He's making sweeping generalizations, and of course it's to make a point. But if he's so unhappy living in his condo association, he should run for the board, get his neighbors to support his ideas, and change the rules.
Yeah. I think this might be a good time. Why don't we end this segment with a letter? This is maybe something that Mr. Glazer was thinking about when.
This is an illustration of what he had in mind. Okay.
Yes, and Eric, do you have some music that we might be able to have appropriate in the background here as we go out on this segment with this piece? It's called "Oh, the Holidays Can Be Tough." Let us know when you're ready with something. All set? Okay. Go ahead. There we go. And this is from the North Pole Homeowners Association to the Claus family. Dear Mr. Claus, we are instructed by the Board of Directors to inform you of the following violations. Your sleigh is a recreational vehicle which is prohibited by the covenants. When we told you to move it from your yard, we did not intend for you to place it on your roof. Please remove it from your premises. By the way, red and green colors on your house clash with the common scheme of the neighborhood. You must choose approved colors from our color book and submit an application for repainting to the Architectural Review Committee.
You are feeding wild animals which appear to be diseased. The sickest one is the one with the shiny red nose. Some would even say it glows. You must discontinue this practice immediately or we will call animal control. You're storing toys and games in a huge canvas sack in your yard. Be advised that all outdoor storage must be approved by the Architectural Review Committee and must be of the same style and finish as your house.
It appears also that you are operating a daycare center and or workshop in violation of the covenants. Through the fence, we hear the sounds of laughing, playing games, and shouting out with glee. There are numerous small persons on your property, and they clatter, and the activity is disruptive. The amount of mail, by the way, you're receiving exceeds what will fit in your ARC-approved mailbox, so you must make arrangements with the Postal Service for alternate delivery at a post office box or a business address.
You have made unauthorized modifications to your home, which allow you to enter and exit through the chimney. You must submit an ARC application for your new entry, including evidence that it meets all state and local codes and is in harmony with other homes. You've been observed making a list and checking it twice, finding out who is naughty or nice. You have no authority to do that, and it's divisive. It is the function of the Covenant Compliance Department to determine who is naughty or nice.
Thank you for your cooperation and understanding in complying with this letter. If you do not comply within 10 days, we will refer these violations to our attorney. Respectfully, the North Pole Homeowners Association.